Imagine this scenario. You finally got that big promotion. The email came through, the HR paperwork was signed, and you are officially earning 6 figures. You celebrated. You hugged your spouse. Maybe you went out for an expensive steak dinner because you felt like you had finally, unequivocally, made it. But let's fast forward 6 months. You're staring at your bank account at 2 a.m., rubbing your eyes and feeling broker than you did when you were making $60,000 a year. You feel a knot in your stomach because you cannot figure out where the money is going. Let me tell you something right now to take the weight off your shoulders. It is not because you are fundamentally bad with money. It's because the math is rigged against you. For decades, $100,000 was the mythological number our parents, our teachers, and society held up like a finish line. They told us that once you hit 6 figures, the financial stress disappears. You buy the house, you take the vacations, and life is simply good. You've reached the promised land. But here is the harsh reality of 2026. That version of $100,000 left the building about 25 years ago, and unfortunately, nobody sent you the memo. You are playing a modern financial game using a rule book written in the 1990s. Today, we are taking that mythological number apart. We are going to look under the hood to show you exactly why the math is actively working against you right now. And more importantly, I'm going to give you the specific step-by-step playbook to fix it. Let's look at the actual math. The math that HR definitely never mentions when they offer you that 6-figure salary. Think back to 1995. In 1995, earning $100,000 meant you had an elite income. You were comfortably sitting in top 5% territory. A median home cost around $130,000. A new car was maybe $15,000. Fast forward to 2026. According to standard inflation calculators, that same $100,000 you are so proud of today has the purchasing power of only about $47,000 in 1995 terms. Let that sink in. Your resume proudly says 6 figures. Your LinkedIn profile looks great. But your bank account is behaving like it's 1995 and you're making less than 50 grand. It's a phantom income. The core problem isn't just the inflation of goods, it's the inflation of our expectations. Our spending aspirations haven't adjusted to the new math. We still desperately want what we call the 6-figure lifestyle. You know what that looks like. The nice suburban house with a yard, 2 reliable mid to high tier cars in the driveway, fully funded retirement accounts, and a couple of nice annual vacations with the family. But financial analysts have run the numbers on that specific 1990s American dream lifestyle in 2026. To afford that life today without stressing about every penny actually costs around $211,000 a year. Look at that gap. There is a massive, gaping $111,000 deficit between what society tells us we should be able to afford at 6 figures and what the math actually permits. So what happens? How do people cope with this reality? They don't lower their expectations. Instead, they fill that $111,000 gap with debt. They use high-interest credit cards for the groceries and the vacations. They use 84-month car leases just to get the monthly payment down on the SUV they feel they deserve. They stretch themselves into 40-year mortgages or adjustable rates just to get the keys to the house. They are quite literally financing an illusion. And that illusion is what is keeping you awake at 2 a.m. Now let's talk about the silent killer of the high earner, the tax trap. When you get a raise from, say, $75,000 to $100,000, your brain does some very simple, very optimistic math. You think, great, an extra $25,000 a year. Divide that by 12 and I'm getting an extra $2,083 every single month. You start mentally spending that $2,000. You look at better apartments, nicer cars, maybe a country club membership. But you forgot about the invisible hand in your pocket. The government doesn't tax your new money at your old average rate. They stack that new money right on top of your existing income. This means you aren't paying an effective rate of 10% or 12% on that new money. You are immediately pushed into higher marginal territory. You are hit with the 22% or 24% federal bracket. Then add FICA taxes. Then add state income taxes. Suddenly you realize that your gross $25,000 raise actually translates to just $15,800 in net take-home pay. Your $2,000 a month fantasy just became a $1,300 reality. But it actually gets worse. Hitting six figures is often the exact threshold that triggers the phase-out of highly valuable tax breaks. For example, when you cross certain income limits, you start losing the student loan interest deduction. You might lose eligibility for certain child tax credits or Roth IRA contributions. So, not only is your new money taxed at a higher rate, but your existing debts and life expenses effectively become more expensive because the government is pulling away the safety nets. You worked harder. You took on more responsibility at the office. You got the promotion, and the tax code essentially punished you for it. This is why the jump to $100,000 feels so incredibly anticlimactic. The raise was a mirage. If the IRS doesn't get your money, society will. Welcome to the conformity tax. Unlike federal taxes, this tax is entirely voluntary, but it is a psychological trap that catches almost everyone. The conformity tax is the immense pressure to look, act, and spend like a six-figure earner. When you hit that milestone, something shifts in your brain. You look at your reliable, beat-up 2014 Honda Accord and suddenly think, I'm a manager now. I make $100,000. I can't drive this to client meetings. I have a reputation to maintain. So, you trade it in and lease a $700 a month Tesla or a luxury SUV. You decide your old apartment isn't suitable for someone of your status, so you move into a house at the absolute maximum ceiling of what the bank will approve, rather than what actually makes sense for your budget. Then come the micro upgrades. You swap the budget gym for the boutique $150 a month fitness club. You stop shopping at Aldi and start doing your grocery runs at Whole Foods. You start dining out 4 nights a week or ordering DoorDash because, hey, you're a high earner now, your time is valuable, and you're too busy to cook. Individually, every single one of these decisions feels defensible. You can justify the car, you can justify the gym, but collectively, they form a lifestyle that is eating your wealth alive from the inside out. In personal finance, there is a concept called the freedom gap. The freedom gap is simply the space between what you earn and what you spend. That gap is the only scoreboard that actually matters in life. It doesn't matter if your income is $1 million a year. If your expenses are $1,000,001, you are losing the game. And for many six-figure earners today, their freedom gap scoreboard is deeply embarrassing. Let's bring this to life. Let's compare two completely different people to prove that income does not equal wealth. Let's look at person A. We'll call her Sarah. Sarah makes $60,000 a year. Society tells Sarah she is barely scraping by. But Sarah lives modestly. She has roommates, she drives a paid-off older car, and she cooks at home. Because her overhead is so low, Sarah manages to save and invest $700 every single month. She has a fully funded 6-month emergency fund. If Sarah's boss yells at her, she doesn't panic. She sleeps soundly because she has a massive freedom gap. She is in control. Now, let's look at person B. We'll call him Mark. Mark is our six-figure hero, pulling in $120,000 a year. He bought a $575,000 house, has a luxury car lease, and his wife has a premium SUV. They take the nice vacations. But after taxes, insurance, and $9,500 in monthly lifestyle expenses, Mark is actually spending slightly more than he brings in every month. Mark belongs to a demographic financial advisors call Henry's, high earner, not rich yet. Mark looks like a millionaire on Instagram, but he is fundamentally trapped. He cannot quit a toxic job. He cannot pivot careers. He cannot weather a layoff. Why? Because he has leveraged his entire existence on the dangerous assumption that the high income will never, ever stop. He is living on a knife's edge. Here is the golden rule you need to write down. Income is just the velocity of money moving through your hands. Wealth is what actually stays behind. If you make $120,000 and spend $120,000, you are not wealthy. You are just a rodent on a very, very expensive treadmill. This treadmill doesn't just ruin your present, it destroys your future. Let's talk about a concept called Parkinson's Law. In project management, Parkinson's Law states that work expands to fill the time allotted for it. But there is a financial version of this law that is far more dangerous. Expenses will always expand to fill the income available. Every single time you get a raise, you magically find a new need to absorb that money. But I want you to look at the brutal math of retirement. Financial planners generally use the 4% rule, which means you need 25 times your annual expenses saved up to retire safely. If you allow lifestyle creep to take over and you build a life that requires $150,000 a year to maintain, you will need a nest egg of $3.75 million just to retire. But if you control your conformity tax and learn to live happily on $50,000 a year, you only need $1.25 million to retire. By inflating your lifestyle today to look rich, you aren't just making your current life more stressful. You might be making your eventual retirement mathematically impossible. Think about that $200 a month upgrade you made to buy all organic groceries at the high-end market. If you invested that $200 a month instead, compounded at an 8% return over 30 years, that isn't just a $24,000 grocery bill. That is $244,000 stolen directly from your future self. So, how do we fix this? How do we escape the six-figure trap? The fix requires a complete mental reframe. You must stop thinking about your salary and start thinking exclusively about your operating margin. I want you to treat your household exactly like a ruthless business. In business, revenue minus costs equals profit. A business making $500,000 a year that only spends $200,000 is an elite, highly profitable company. A business making $10 million a year that spends $10 million a year is a failure, teetering on bankruptcy. Be the profitable business. Here is your specific 3-step playbook to take your life back today. Number 1. Automate the margin. You must automate your savings and investments so the money literally disappears into separate accounts before your brain even has a chance to spend it. If you don't see it, you won't miss it. Number 2. Institute the 50% rule. From this day forward, whenever you get a raise or a bonus, bank at least half of the after-tax increase immediately. You can use the other half to upgrade your lifestyle and enjoy your hard work. But this rule guarantees that as your income grows, your profit margin grows with it. Number 3. Run your own numbers. Sit down tonight and calculate your actual annual expenses. Multiply that number by 25. That is your true freedom number. Stare at it. Let it guide your spending decisions tomorrow. It is time to stop measuring your success by the velocity of money moving through your hands. Start measuring it by what sticks. Protect your margin. Protect your freedom. And finally, Get off the treadmill.